This video is about finding factors. Factors are numbers that are multiplied together to get a product. For example, 3 times 4 equals 12. The 3 and the 4 are factors of 12. Now, some numbers have many factors and some numbers only have a few. So if you were asked to list all of the factors of 12, you would think to yourself, what are all the math problems that I can do that equal 12? So you know you can do 1 times 12 and get 12. So these are two factors. 2 times 6 equals 12. So 2 and 6 are also factors of 12. And 3 times 4 equals 12. So 3 and 4 are both factors of 12. And often, when you're asked to write out all the factors of a number, you're asked to do them in numerical order or in order from greatest to least. So, when you're asked to do that, you take your numbers and you put them in line from greatest to least. So, here they are written in pairs. And I think when you're first beginning this exercise, that's the easiest way to do it, to write them in those pairs, and then to take the pairs and put them in numerical order. So one thing that you will notice is that two factors of a number are always going to be 1 and the number itself. No matter what number you're working with, 1 and the actual number itself are going to be two factors of that number. So we're going to go on to number 10, or to this 10, and we're going to say, what are all the factors of 10? So I have to think to myself, what two numbers can I multiply together to get 10? And I always like to start at the beginning. And by that, I mean start with the number 1. So 1 times what equals 10? Well, 1 times 10 equals 10. And then I just like to go up from there. I go to the number 2 and I say, is 2 times anything 10? Well, 10 is an even number because it ends with a 0. And I'm going to go right over here and just write a little reminder that any number that ends in a 0, a 2, a 4, a 6, or an 8, any number that has this in one of these numbers in the ones column are even numbers and can be divisible by 2. So we have 1 times 10, and we have 2 times 5 would give us 10. Can we multiply 3 times anything to get 10? No, because 3 times 2 is 6, and 3 times 3 is 9, so that isn't going to work. Can we multiply 4 times anything and get 10? No, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12, so nothing we can multiply there. It has to be a whole number. It can't be a partial number. Can we multiply 5? Yes, we can, and we already have 5 written down here. That is how we know we're done. When we repeat a number, we know we found all the possible factors. So now I'm going to go down here and put all these numbers in numerical order. So 1, 2, 5, and 10 are all the factors of the number 10. Let's look at this number, 15. We're going to find all the possible factors of 15. So we're going to start at the beginning, and that means start with 1. 1 times what gives you 15? Well, 1 times 15. Can we multiply anything by 2 and get 15? Well, 15 is an odd number, so no, we cannot. Can we multiply anything by 3 and get 15? I hope you said yes. 3 times 5 is 15. What about 4? Can we multiply anything by 4? Well, 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 3 is 12, so no, we cannot. And what about 5? Well, look right here. We already have 5 written down. That's how we know we're finished finding all the factors of 15. And then we're going to write them in a row in numerical order. Now we're going to try a couple other numbers. These have a little special, kind of a little special rule with them. So what can we multiply together to get 25? We start at the beginning. So that means 1 times 25. And is this number even? It is not, so we know 2 won't go into it. What about 3? Let's think about our 3 times tables. 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 9 is 27. 3 is not going to work. What about 4? 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 7 is 28. So 4 is not going to work. What about 5? 5 times 5. So we're going to write that down. We're going to ask 6, 7. We can pretty much rest now and know that that is as far as we can go. Now, when we write these in numerical order, we're going to write 1 and 5 and 25. We're not going to put the 5 down 2 times. There's no need to do that. 5 itself is a factor of 25, and so we're only going to write it down 1 time. That's why I said this is a little bit special. All these numbers up here have an even number of factors, but when you have a number that is doubles, 5 times 5, 6 times 6, 7 times 7, you're going to end up with an uneven number in your final row. That's going to be important because on some of your worksheets, you'll just see why that's important on some of your worksheets. So now we're going to go on to 36, and I'm going to ask you to take a minute and write all the factors of 36. So put this on pause, see if you can write all the factors of 36 and then unpause it and see what you came up with. So we have 1 times 36. It's an even number, so we know 2 times something will be equal to 36. You might have to go over here and do a little division problem. Do 36 divided by 2, and when you do that, you're going to find out that it's going to be 18. Now, I know that 18 is not on our multiplication chart, but a number does not have to be on that multiplication chart in order to still be a factor. And then we have 3 times 12 and 4 times 9. 5 won't go into it. Remember, if it ends with 5 or 0, 5 would be a factor, but this does not end with a 5 or a 0. 4 times 9, 5 times, nope, 6 times 6, yes. 7 times anything, no. 8 times anything, no. And then we hit 9. 9's already written down, so we know that we've got all the factors. So when we write these in numerical order, we're going to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. We're only writing the 6 down 1 time. Then we're going to write 9, 12, 18, and 36. 36 has quite a few factors, and here they are written in numerical order. So let me do a little pop quiz with you here. What if we have the number 24 and you are asked, which one of these numbers, let's do it like this, which one of these numbers, 2, 5, or 9, is a factor of 24? Well, can you multiply 2 by anything and get 24? I hope you said yes, you can do 2 times 12. Can you multiply 5 times anything and get 24? No, you cannot, so this one doesn't work. Can you multiply 9 by anything and get 24? No, you cannot, so that one won't work either. So the only one that is a factor here is 2, and that's because you can multiply 2 times 12. So This one would be the right answer right there. You'd want to highlight that yellow or circle it or something. So another pop quiz. What if you had a question like this? What if you had the number 48 and you were asked, which one of these is not a factor of 48? So we have to look at these. Which one is not a factor? Can you do 5 times anything and get 48? No, it doesn't end with 5. So this one is not a factor. We're going to highlight it. What about 8? 8 times anything give you 48? I hope you said yes, yes, 6. 8 times 6 is 48. What about 2? Is 2 a factor of 48? I hope you said yes, yes, it's even. So 2 has to be a factor of 48. And maybe you even knew it was 2 times 24. So 5 is the only one that is not a factor of 48. Sometimes on your worksheet, you're going to be asked this question. Pick out the number that is not a factor. And sometimes you're going to be asked this question. Pick out the number that is a factor. So pay careful attention to those directions.